Tonight, Ottawa's new strategy for electric vehicles. Mandates out, incentives in again.
Are you bringing back the incentive?
We'll have more news on that to come.
What CBC News has learned for car buyers. New details on 3 men in Ontario facing explosives and gun charges.
We have our own chemical lab on site.
A promotional video for a homemade anti-weapons system. And big concern for a Canadian training for big air. Mark McMorris stretchered off the slope.
From CBC News, this is The National with Erica Johnson.
Thanks for joining us. Adrian is on assignment in Milan. As Canada's economy navigates tariff demands and trade uncertainties, the federal government is releasing a new automotive strategy. CBC News has learned it will include dumping the government's EV mandate. Ottawa is expected to announce its new plan tomorrow. Sources say EV and plug-in hybrid incentives will also be brought back to help consumers with cost, plus money to build up the country's charging network. These changes coming as Canada's auto sector is traveling a very rocky road. Ashley Burke brings us the details and the reaction.
Are you going to be scrapping the EV mandate?
The federal government isn't saying anything publicly yet, but sources tell CBC News Ottawa's new automotive strategy will be unveiled tomorrow.
It's important because we know our auto workers are right now feeling the brunt of the U.S. unjustified and unjustifiable tariffs.
CBC News has learned that strategy will include bringing back incentives for consumers to make it cheaper to buy EVs and plug-in hybrids.
Are you bringing back the incentive?
We'll have more news on that to come.
There used to be a rebate of up to $5,000 if you bought a plug-in vehicle, but the federal program ran out of money more than a year ago because there was so much demand. A source told Radio-Canada incentives of up to $5,000 are returning for an EV worth $50,000 or less. Sources also say there will be money announced to build more EV charging stations across Canada.
Supply has been handled. We've got 115 models in the market. What we're missing is the demand, and I hope this strategy is going to address that.
Sources say Ottawa is also expected to scrap its current electric vehicle mandate that required a growing number of new vehicles in Canada to be EVs, and to replace it with a new system based on fuel efficiency standards and credits.
Well, people in the sector are going to be happy because those targets in the EV mandates were unachievable.
Before the news broke, Canada's former environment minister said an EV mandate is necessary.
That mandate, it is essential. I mean, it's not just for climate change, but in terms of air pollution, the impacts, the health benefit of doing this are very important.
Think tank Clean Energy Canada says it's disappointed because the EV mandate was meant to cut down car pollution and drive down the average cost of EVs.
And Ashley, the industry minister talked about the pressure automakers are under from American tariffs. What else does the sector want to see in this new auto strategy to address that?
Well, Erica, Flavio Volpe, who you just heard from, said that he's going to be watching to see if the government finds a new way to keep Canadian automakers from moving operations to the U.S., something that Donald Trump says he wants. Volpe says the automakers investing and employing people in Canada should get advantages, and that one option would be finding a way to give them relief from American tariffs and credit for building vehicles in Canada.
Ashley, thanks for this. Ashley Burke in Ottawa tonight. New video tonight is shedding light on 3 men charged in an explosives case in London, Ontario. As Thomas Dagla shows us, the trio appear in a promotional video pitching a military-style drone defense system to potential investors.
With a 3D model of an anti-drone system loaded on the back of a pickup truck, recent Western University grads make their pitch to investors.
My name is Jerry Tong. I studied integrated engineering at Western University.
The videos were posted online in October, but are coming to light now that these 3 men fronting the project are each facing explosives and firearms charges in a case involving the RCMP's national security team.
I hold 2 NSERC undergraduate student research awards for designing and fabricating high-speed motion controls and vacuum systems.
Police began looking into the former students last month after one was accused of trespassing on campus in London, Ontario. Police later searching this nearby home, only to find what they describe as hazardous chemicals that could be used to make explosives.
There might be difficulties for the Crown to prove that they were ill intention.
In the online videos, the men described their engineering startup, Morse Lab, proposing a high-tech defense system for the military, showing off what they call AI capabilities. And listen as they describe their use of chemicals.
We have our own chemical lab on site, capable of synthesizing primary and secondary energetics.
The defense will probably try to demonstrate that they were just misguided young individuals, young entrepreneur.
A fourth co-accused, Fei-Young Astrid G, doesn't appear in the videos. Her name matches that of a current Western student enrolled in science.
All four accused remain in custody pending bail hearings. They each face a list of charges, including manufacturing a prohibited firearm. Their lawyers declined to comment. Thomas Dagg, CBC News, Toronto.
Breaking news tonight, CBC News has learned that 9 Toronto police officers face serious charges related to violence in the tow truck industry. Multiple sources say the offenses include trafficking, leaking addresses to hitmen, and conspiring to kill a unit commander at a detention center. A news conference on Thursday morning should provide details. Donald Trump's border czar says he's pulling hundreds of ICE agents off the streets of Minnesota. Anti-ICE protesters are portraying it as a victory for their side. And as Katie Nicholson shows us, so is Washington.
I'm telling you right now, get off the street now.
The sweeping wave of federal immigration agents in Minnesota now receding just a little.
Effective immediately, we'll draw down 700 people.
This after months of fierce grassroots pushback on the frozen streets and plummeting polls and mounting criticism for the Trump administration. Made all the worse when federal immigration agents shot and killed 2 Minnesotans within weeks of each other, Renee Good and Alex Preddy. Still, the border czar insists Operation Metro Surge is not a failure.
It was a great operation. We took a lot of public safety threats off the street.
The U.S. president says it was his decision to pull back and that lessons have been learned in Minneapolis.
I learned that maybe we can use a little bit of a softer touch, but you still have to be tough.
In a post, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz said Homan's announcement was a step in the right direction, but pushed for a faster and larger drawdown, while the Minneapolis mayor reality-checked the numbers.
The continued presence of 2,000 federal agents in a city that only has 600 police officers is still not de-escalation.
Organizers on the ground who have staged noisy protests outside hotels to keep ICE agents awake, choosing to see this as winning a battle, but not the war.
It's definitely a win, and there's a lot more to do. So do not expect that the resistance will decrease. If anything, now we have the same number of people on the streets and fewer ICE agents.
Even as some immigration officers pack their bags, the scars this operation has left behind may have marred the Trump administration in the eyes of some voters. Renee Good's brothers shared their grief before Congress Tuesday.
These encounters with federal agents are changing the community and changing many lives, including ours, forever.
700 agents may be pulling out, but legal action against Homeland Security is piling up. 2 Minnesota public school boards and a teachers union filed a new lawsuit today to keep ICE off or away from school property.
And Katie, we've now learned that ICE is operating in Canada.
Yeah, they're working out of the U.S. Embassy in Ottawa and consulates in 4 other cities. And an ICE spokesperson told CBC News these are agents that are associated more with the Homeland Security investigations side of things. So the U.S. Embassy says they've supported Canadian law enforcement with drug, firearms, even terror investigations. But there are growing calls in Canada to remove those agents from the country, at least until concerns around ICE here in the U.S. are resolved.
Thanks, Katie. Katie Nicholson in Washington. According to the U.S. government, ICE operates in more than 90 countries. These days, that includes a special deployment to Italy for the Winter Olympic Games. But that has sparked a backlash. And as Briar Stewart shows us, for organizers, it's becoming a headache.
On the wintry streets of Cortina, a visible increase in police. As Olympic organizers ramp up security, Italy's government is still trying to ease public concern over the presence of U.S. ICE agents. We will not see anything on national territory that resembles what has been seen in the media in the United States, said Italy's interior minister. Protesters have taken to the streets after Italian media revealed that personnel with the U.S. Immigration and Enforcement Agency are being deployed to the country. U.S. officials say they will be helping with diplomatic security and not out on the street as they have been in Minnesota. But that hasn't quelled the backlash.
I don't want ICE, no.
Even just the word ICE has the potential to be contentious at the Winter Games.
U.S. Olympic officials are turning this hotel into a hospitality space for athletes and their families. It was supposed to be called the Ice House. It's now been rebranded the Winter House.
U.S. figure skating champion Amber Glenn said it was a wise move.
A lot of people say you're just an athlete, like stick to your job, shut up about politics, but politics affect us all.
Alyssa Liu feels a personal connection to what's happening in Minnesota.
I am the proud daughter of 2 immigrants. So of course, I'm going to speak up for something that I'm very close to.
There are more protests planned for here in Milan. But when we asked the head of the International Olympic Committee about the protests, Kirsty Coventry steered clear of any politics.
The Games are a place where people can be reminded of the best of humanity.
But more protests are planned, including 2 for Friday, just as the opening ceremony gets underway. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Milan.
Breaking news from the Milano Cortina Olympics tonight. Canadian snowboarder Mark McMorris suffered a heavy crash during training and was taken off the hill in a stretcher. Sarah Levitt is there tonight. Sarah, what more do we know?
Well, we don't have a lot of details about the extent of these injuries or if he has any. We do know this happened at the big air practice here in Livigno. This was the second practice of that competition, and the snowboarders are on a structure that is about 50 meters high. They go off a jump and try to get a lot of air and do a lot of tricks. And McMorris crashed hard enough that he had to be taken off on a stretcher. The Canadian Olympic Committee sent out a release simply saying that he's being attended to by staff. Meanwhile, the Canada's snowboard team posting on social media saying simply, "Mark's okay, we wish him the best."
And Sarah, Mark McMorris has suffered injuries over the years, including a life-threatening accident.
Yeah, that was in 2017. He was backcountry snowboarding for fun when he crashed into a tree. Very life-threatening injuries. He ruptured his spleen. He had a collapsed left lung, and he fractured his jaw, his pelvis, an arm, as well as some ribs. This is McMorris's 4th Olympics. He's already won 3 bronze medals, and we were with him Tuesday night to talk about that and his excitement.
Still be competitive and pushing with the young guns is really amazing. The amount of work I need to put in is much greater than it was in 2014, just in the physical side of things and pushing to do these new, bigger tricks.
So we don't know how bad this crash was and if it means his Olympic dreams are over. Erica?
Okay, Sarah, thanks for this. Sarah Levitt in Livigno, Italy tonight. Tonight, Savannah Guthrie, co-host of NBC's Today Show, is making an emotional plea for the safe return of her missing mother.
We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen.
84-year-old Nancy Guthrie was last seen at her home Saturday night. Police believe she was taken against her will by an unknown person or group. Several U.S. media outlets are reporting receiving ransom letters, but authorities have not confirmed that. In one of the deadliest days since a ceasefire went into effect last October, Israeli shelling and airstrikes killed 24 people in Gaza, according to local health officials. Young children were martyred. My son and my nephew were martyred, says this man. May God have mercy on them and treat them kindly. This man clings to the bodies of his 2 daughters before they are carried away, victims of an attack on a tent camp in Khan-Yunis. The Palestinian Red Crescent says a medic was killed in a follow-up attack as he was rushing to the scene. Israel says it was responding to Hamas gunfire near the armistice line and that it targeted militant commanders. Talks planned for Friday between Iran and the U.S. appear to be back on track, despite Iran's reluctance to address its deadly crackdown on protesters. Tonight at Iraq's border with Iran, our senior international correspondent, Margaret Evans, meets other Iranians who also don't want to discuss it out of fear.
The reach of Tehran's intelligence arm can stretch all the way to this northern border crossing between Iran and Iraqi Kurdistan, especially in the wake of the recent anti-government protests. Many Iranians crossing make money carrying goods back and forth in a small tax-free zone along the border. This man makes about $3 a day. Life is really hard financially, he says. Demonstrations have decreased, but a lot of people were killed. Few want to be filmed.
One of the reasons that people are so nervous about talking to us, according to locals on this side of the border, is that the Iranian security forces will pay informants to mix in with Iranians coming from that side to this one.
This woman asks us if there are spies listening in.
We hear the Americans might attack Iran again. What do you think about that?
She tells us she waits for it every night. The Kurdish mayor of the Iraqi border town thinks Iran will actually submit to U.S. demands before any military strike. However, he adds, if the U.S. carries out limited strikes, there will be danger to U.S. bases across the region, including a small U.S. contingent in the Kurdish capital, Erbil. Planned talks between the U.S. and Iran have been thrown into doubt by differences over what's on the negotiating table.
The Iranians are very shrewd, very clever negotiators.
Analyst Alawar Ala Al-Din says Iran is trying to limit talks to the nuclear issue.
They genuinely believe that President Trump ultimately is not interested in a war, an all-out war, or even regime change.
But the U.S. Secretary of State has laid out Washington's demands.
And that includes the range of their ballistic missiles. That includes their sponsorship of terrorist organizations across the region. That includes the nuclear program, and that includes the treatment of their own people.
A long way still to go then. Margaret Evans, CBC News, along the Iraq-Iran border.
Ottawa has updated its travel advice for Cuba. It's warning Canadians that worsening shortages of fuel, food, and electricity could impact resorts and disrupt flights with little notice. While most large hotels rely on generators, the federal government says the situation is unpredictable. It's urging a high degree of caution, even as Cuban officials insist the winter tourism season is on track. Alberta's premier wants more say on how federal judges are chosen in her province.
This is a threat. This is a form of ransom.
Why she's threatening to hold back provincial funding. Next. Plus, 2 young kids in Nova Scotia now missing for 9 months.
It was very chaotic. It was very stressful.
What we're learning from friends of Jack and Lilly Sullivan's family. And later, a CT scan becomes a time machine, taking a trip back to ancient Egypt.
It made a really exciting thing of using kind of modern medicine to be able to look at over 2,000-year-old patients.
The real lives of Egyptian mummies revealed. We're back in 2. The Washington Post has laid off hundreds of employees, roughly 1/3 of its staff. The cuts hit the sports section, literary coverage, and several foreign bureaus. The paper's editor-in-chief calls the move painful but necessary. Employees at the Jeff Bezos-owned company had been bracing for layoffs for weeks and publicly urged the billionaire owner to reconsider. Alberta is calling on Mark Carney for a bigger provincial role in the selection of federally appointed judges. And Premier Danielle Smith attached a warning to her demand. Julia Wong now with what's at stake.
Danielle Smith says Alberta needs more say in picking federal judges. If not, it might withhold the necessary funding to support any new judicial positions.
This is a threat. This is a form of ransom.
This lawyer says reduced funding would hurt the justice system.
We're going to start running into a situation where trials aren't being concluded and matters are being stayed. And this is the initial thought that goes through my head is that we're going to have a backlog here.
Right now, Ottawa appoints judges to federal courts with input from provincial committees. Alberta's 7-person committee includes 1 provincially nominated person and 3 who are federally nominated. Smith wants a new committee with 2 Alberta-appointed experts and 2 appointed by Ottawa.
She's making a point about confidence in the administration of justice.
But this political scientist says there's no problem to fix.
There's no evidence to suggest that federally appointed judges are behaving in a way that favors the federal government. The Premier has suggested that there's no way they could be impartial, but that's simply not true.
The federal justice minister points to the importance of judicial independence.
It's essential that we have a judiciary who's able to make decisions without fear or favor.
This professor says debate over judicial picks has raged for years.
It's not inappropriate for her to be asking for more involvement in the appointments process. The Prime Minister is entitled to take that under advisement.
And then there's the politics at play, with many calls for separatism.
It could be interpreted as a way of the Premier trying to convince some of these folks that it's okay to stay in Canada because we're going to assert more control over various aspects of federal jurisdictions.
Smith also says the rule around Supreme Court bilingualism should be dropped, saying it contributes to Western alienation. Julia Wong, CBC News, Edmonton.
Canadian pole vaulter and Olympic bronze medalist Alicia Newman is facing a temporary suspension for violating anti-doping rules. Newman's suspension is the result of what's called a whereabouts failure. That means she's accused of failing to submit required information about her daily routine to allow for random drug tests. Newman has released a statement saying she accepts the provisional suspension but denies ever taking a banned substance. A final decision on her case will be made following a hearing. Decorated Olympic swimmer Penny Oleksiak was also issued a whereabouts violation last year, which resulted in a 2-year ban. Top NHL prospect Gavin McKenna is facing multiple charges tonight, including 1 count of felony aggravated assault. The accusations are tied to an incident in Pennsylvania. If convicted, the Canadian could face upwards of 20 years in prison. 18-year-old McKenna has already represented Canada on the international stage and was projected to go first overall in the next NHL draft. Jack and Lilly Sullivan vanished from their rural home in Nova Scotia 9 months ago. But what happened to the 2 young children remains a mystery.
Did you have anything to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lilly?
No.
A CBC News investigation speaks to close family and friends. Plus, the countdown is on to Friday's opening ceremony for the Winter Olympic Games.
You strike me like a little kid who cannot wait to show somebody his toys.
Absolutely.
Adrian meets the creative minds hoping to make magic. The National breaks down the stories shaping our world next.
Team Canada's going all out here. They're trying to make a play in the house.
A Canadian victory already at the Milano Cortina Olympics in curling mixed doubles. But play didn't go off without a hitch. The lights went out at the venue. Luckily, it was fixed before Canada's Brett Galland and Jocelyn Peterman powered their way to a 10-5 win over Czechia. And over at the hockey rink,
It was our first time here at the facility, so just getting our bearings, looking around the rink, the ice, the boards, all those kind of things, and then we're excited to get going. That's what we live for. That's the reason we're here.
Canada's women's hockey team hit the ice practicing before their first game tomorrow. They're slated to play Finland, but the Finnish team canceled its practice due to a stomach illness affecting at least 4 players. Now, let's break down the stories shaping our world. How do you top these great moments of Olympic ceremony? The challenge is on for Milano Cortina 2026.
It's beautiful on paper.
But first, a deeper look into a heartbreaking mystery.
Happy kids. Very happy kids. Always excited.
Lilly and Jack Sullivan have been missing for 9 months. We speak to family friends.
I wouldn't say anybody's a suspect.
And ask the stepfather about local gossip.
People thought I was doing drugs during the search. Absolutely not.
Did you have anything to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lilly?
Angela McIver breaks down what we know from the ongoing investigation in rural Nova Scotia and how it feels to witness all that sorrow and frustration.
Right. Was this some of the stuff that you guys had been like washing when you got it, or?
We didn't get to this stuff because it just became too overwhelming.
Okay.
But this was some of Jack and Lily's belongings from Lansdowne.
Blankets once cherished by 6-year-old Lily and 5-year-old Jack Sullivan, now reminders.
It was one of her favorite blankets.
Okay, yeah, it's got the cherries on it.
Every blanket she had was her favorite, especially if it was pink.
Cheryl Robinson and Angeline Maloney Arsenault are both close with the children's mother. They've spent the last 9 months doing their best to offer support since Jack and Lily disappeared, a mystery that remains unsolved despite months of searches.
Happy kids. Very happy kids. Always excited. They love their mom. They love their grandmother, and they loved each other. They fought, but they loved each other.
What was Lily like?
Very girly. She got excited easily. Loved her dolls. She was just very outgoing and cutest little thing. Jack loves his dinosaurs. Loved to play with his toys. Jack was more quieter. He was on the quieter side.
The story of Jack and Lily Sullivan has captured international attention and continues to gain traction online, with true crime channels trying to make sense of the case. It all started on May 2nd, when both kids seemingly vanished. At their home in Lansdowne, Nova Scotia, early that morning, the children's mother, stepfather, and his mom all say they heard the kids playing as they dipped in and out of sleep. When they awoke to silence, they all ran outside, and at 10 o'clock, their mother called 911.
The 6-year-old is the girl, I believe, and she's wearing pink. The 4-year-old is wearing some blue dinosaur boots. Yeah, I think that's all we kind of have right now.
I just happened to scroll Facebook, and I saw the post from the RCMP that Lily and Jack were missing, and we decided we would go over and help look for them.
My coworker at lunchtime, she brought it up, and she started reading like the whole thing out loud, and when she said the 2 names, I was like, hold on, like, wait a minute. And I just grabbed my phone and called Malaya, and I was like, are your kids missing? And she said yes, and she was very upset.
How would you describe the scene that day?
Chaotic. It was very chaotic. It was very stressful.
RCMP teams and hundreds of search and rescue volunteers descended on the property, presuming that Jack and Lily wandered into the nearby woods. But Robinson says right away, things didn't feel right.
We had asked for an Amber Alert a few hours after the kids had went missing, and we were told that it didn't meet the criteria because apparently you have to have like a suspect or reason to believe that they could have been abducted. So that was pretty disappointing.
Ground search and rescue people.
Staff Sergeant Rob McCammon is with the Nova Scotia RCMP Major Crime Unit.
We didn't have the necessary pre-qualifiers to issue an Amber Alert. However, we did issue vulnerable persons alerts related to the disappearance of Jack and Lilly.
With little information from police, rumors have been swirling about potential suspects and whether their mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, or their stepfather, Daniel Martel, had anything to do with it. Both deny knowing what happened.
I wouldn't say anybody's a suspect. Again, we continue to gather information and whatever evidence that we are able to find, and we'll make our decisions based on that. But we are not in a position to really comment on suspects or anything like that at this time.
RCMP did charge Martel on January 29th with assault, sexual assault, and forcible confinement related to an adult complainant. He did not respond to our request for comment on the charges. But in early January, he sat down for an interview. At the time, Martel said he believed the RCMP did not consider him a suspect in the children's disappearance, pointing to the results of a polygraph test he took last spring.
All the questions were on death, right? So they concluded that by the end of it, I was truthful with all my answers. So I didn't have anything to do with the murder of Lilly and Jack. And there was no questions on the disappearance or abduction or kidnapping or anything of that nature.
And so you mentioned that in the polygraph, they didn't ask you about the disappearance and whether you had anything to do with it. But I'm going to ask, did you have anything to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lilly?
No.
Did you kill them?
No.
For a year and a half, Martel and Brooks Murray lived together in this home with Jack, Lilly, and their baby daughter. According to court documents, in the weeks before the children were reported missing, the couple had been fighting about money.
I don't really want to talk on that because I don't really want to talk on too much to do with Malaya. It's best that we don't.
Cheryl Robinson says the day the children went missing was the first time she saw where Brooks Murray and the children had been living. She was shocked.
Just the condition of the house. I mean, I know that not everybody has a fancy house, not everybody is rich, but there's things that you can do to improve your living conditions.
A lot of the speculation has been, why did Malaya and her family leave and not come back? Anything you'd like to say about why that decision was made?
I know that her behavior to a lot of people may seem odd, may seem different, and it may not be what a lot of people would do if their two kids were missing, but until you're in that situation, you really don't know how you would act.
For Martel, the online speculation has focused on his drug use. He admits he used meth and cocaine in the past, but says not now.
In terms of the drug use, what would you like to share, just to clear the air?
I did not have any drugs. People thought I was doing drugs during the search. Absolutely not. I don't owe any drug dealers money. I don't owe anyone drugs. I'm not a drug dealer. I don't manufacture drugs.
8.5 square kilometers of dense, rugged terrain has been thoroughly searched with little evidence. The RCMP says it doesn't have reasonable grounds to believe it's criminal. The case remains an active investigation under the Missing Persons Act.
At this point, do you think those children are still in the woods?
I think the chances are low. However, there's always that possibility that they may be in an area that just we haven't been able to find them. It does happen.
For me, it's just the fact that they're not treating it as a criminal investigation. I think that if they did, maybe they would make a lot more headway in a faster time period.
Maloney Arsenault has taken the role of online detective in the group, constantly chasing new details and theories.
Kind of like a second job, maybe, in a way.
Why do you do it?
To try to find them and see if we can bring them home.
It's just hard.
Everyone close to the case has the same goal: to find Lilly and Jack.
As far as I'm concerned, it's not going to be a cold case. This is a case that needs to be solved, so we will pursue every avenue available to us to ascertain what happened with Jack and Lilly.
And you can watch Angela McIver's full-length interviews with those family friends and with the stepfather, Daniel Martel. Just go to cbcnews.ca or look for them on YouTube. Up next, what have they got cooking in the Milano Cortina Olympic cauldron?
The object will perform an action every half an hour. It's going to be very new.
Meet the team determined to bring you an opening ceremony you'll never forget. We get a hint of what to expect from an Olympic opening ceremony like no other.
So it's 2 cauldrons, 2 Olympic flags, 2 protocol stages.
The creative team knows their work will be compared to unforgettable spectacles from previous games. Adrian met the people in charge of a daunting mission to put on a show that gets the whole world talking.
Milano Cortina 2026 Olympic opening ceremony.
No pressure at all, but whether that imminent opening ceremony of the Winter Olympics, destined to be watched around the world by hundreds of millions, is a hit or a miss, will be on them.
Is it terrible to watch television with you four and watch an opening ceremony of any kind of event? It must be awful.
Yes, it's horrible.
Yes. I'm exactly the audience that I don't want to have for my shows.
These are the creators gathered in Milan. Lulu Hellbeck, Simone Ferrari, who have vast experience with Cirque du Soleil.
We are a great team.
Lida Castelli, the first woman to create the concept behind an Olympic or Paralympic ceremony. Damiano Micheletto, one of the world's most prominent figures in opera. This opening ceremony has been their focus for years, and Marco Balic, the artistic director, calling the creative shots.
So I designed personally this cauldron because I wanted to feature something that is a dynamic object. The object will perform an action every half an hour.
Oh.
It's going to be very new.
You strike me like a little kid who cannot wait to show somebody his toys.
Absolutely, absolutely.
A glimpse of that cauldron offered in the run-up to the games, just a teaser, really. Secrecy is crucial to every opening ceremony, but get bright creative souls talking and you learn a thing or two, like about that cauldron again. Remember the balloon in Paris? It's become an enduring feature. Rose into the sky every day last summer, too. That balloon was a good idea. Balic wants to improve upon the concept and has to. Italy's cauldron has to be lit twice. Everything has to happen twice because Italy's games are spread out. This is the first split Olympics. Milano, Cortina, two very different places.
So it's 2 cauldrons, 2 Olympic flags, 2 protocol stages, 2 athlete parade. It's beautiful on paper, but then as a producer and creative director, suddenly say, whoa.
We've seen glimpses of the ceremony in rehearsal. Much will be as you expect. A tribute to Italy's history of art and fashion. A tribute to Giorgio Armani, a performance by Mariah Carey. All under the theme of Armonia, a word you probably don't need translated.
Yeah, I remember it was a Damiano suggestion. So,
I don't remember.
I remember. He proposed it, but when he said it was immediately right.
Everybody knew.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
we were like, oh,
It's
yes.
a word that you speak harmonia in music, in colors, art.
A world moved by harmony. In Italian, armonia.
You're looking at the divisions within the planet. I'm sure the notion of harmony seemed to make more sense as the world got stranger.
Absolutely. This is it's a good question because Harmonia, it's a Greek word which says there are two different sounds that together form a better sound. So the idea of harmony needs to be translated also in today's world, not only in the dialogue between man and nature, but also in the necessity of dialogue between cultures.
Showing that, they insist, won't just be an experience for viewers at home.
Bonsoir, bienvenue à Paris.
Another lesson learned from the sprawling Paris opening ceremony on the set. It was stunning for the cameras, a little less so for those who sat in the rain along the river.
It is a concern. You're speaking to, let's say, billions of people that are watching it on their sofas, but without the emotions and, let's say, the participation of the people in the stadium, the message that arrives at home, it's different. So you need to engage them because they are part of the show, and would be really a pity to, let's say, abandon them in favor of the camera.
Maybe you sense just how competitive the different teams that design these huge ceremonies really are. They're respectful, but absolutely take and learn from what's happened before.
Good evening, Mr. Bond. Good evening, Your Majesty.
So think about the Queen and James Bond in London. Think about Celine Dion at the Eiffel Tower. Icons in iconic settings.
In every opening ceremony, there's a moment everyone talks about the next day and for a long time to come. Will there be one of those in this ceremony?
For sure there will be a moment at Barcelona lighting the cauldron with the arrow. In Torino we had Pavarotti singing for the last time. For sure, we have one or two moments that can be, make your eye water. I don't know how you do.
Make you cry.
Make you, very emotional. I insist on that because I think that's the best tool to get everyone together.
The Olympics aren't just an assignment for Backlash. They represent a bit of a lost dream for him.
I was a fencer in the youth national team, under 18. Then there was 1980, and there was the boycott of the Olympics. And so my possibility to join the Olympics was cancelled. So since then, the Olympics always stayed in my heart. The athletes, to me, are the main protagonists of the Olympic ceremony, always. Everything has to be around them and celebrating them and their values.
To honor the athletes about to honor their nations. The Olympic movement always refers to the ceremony as the greatest show on earth. Again, no pressure here.
And that show will take place on Friday. You can watch the opening ceremony wherever you get CBC. Adrian will be co-hosting our live coverage starting at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Coming up, Egyptian mummies get a CT scan.
What we're doing is really a virtual autopsy of these mummies to try to understand exactly what happened to them.
A look into their ancient lives next in our moment. This is an Egyptian mummy who's over 2,000 years old, heading into a CT scan in Los Angeles. Summer Decker, a 3D imaging technician, scanned two mummies and took over 50,000 images to help get a glimpse into their lives. Her ancient findings make our moment.
It was really incredible because you think, no one's touched this in 2,000 years. And we've been able to look at it and to be able to do a CT scan of these mummies. So what we're doing is really a virtual autopsy of these mummies to try to understand exactly what happened to them, what was their quality of life like, and kind of be detectives, if you will. Both of them over 2,000 years old. One of the mummies, Neshor, had a really badly fractured hip that had healed. Nesmin, he was a younger individual, he was only in his 40s when he died, but we found some really extensive pathology in his spine. Think about all the things that have happened in 2,000 years. For them to be able to come to this point in time, the moment wasn't lost on me as we walked those mummies into the scanner. Looking at them, looking at the beading on Ness men was just absolutely breathtaking. It made it a really exciting thing of using kind of modern medicine to be able to look at over 2,000-year-old patients.
And even though they are over 2,000 years old, here's something you may have in common with the older mummy. The CT scan showed a collapsed lower back vertebrae. So, like many modern-day humans, he probably suffered from a sore back. From all of us at The National, thank you for being with us. I'm Erica Johnson in Vancouver. Take care.